Hey, good evening, participants. Can you hear me? Okay. So, good evening po, especially to the parents and teachers and also with the students. Praise be Jesus and Mary. I really miss that greetings. The last time I mentioned that was March 9 before the suspension of classes. Okay, so welcome to my talk for this evening. Let me just share with you my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so my topic for tonight is about a practical guide to teaching and learning mathematics at home, which is one of the feature of Vibal Publishing Incorporated. Okay, now let me start with this particular depth-ed order. So I hope you have already seen this particular order that was released last May 11. It's a 16-page department order, but we will not discuss entirely this one. Let me just focus on this item, number 3. If you can see that, according to this depth order, our school year will start on August 24 and it will end on April 30, 2021. So practically, 3 more months of waiting. So how can we keep our kids busy while waiting for the opening of classes? So I know most of us, if not all, are already working from home. So a number of us are already in the work from home scheme, and it's a good in a way that we can still continue working while at home and give us more time to monitor our kids. But how about our kids? So this is why Vival Group Company has come up with the learning kit for them. And this is what we call the Learn at Home kit. So are you ready? So in this Learn at Home kits, you will be given teaching guide, then the activity sheets, the supplement, and the test booklets for your kids from grades 1 to 10. Okay, what is the objective of this particular Learn at Home kit? This is to provide parents and teachers with quality curriculum aligned learning materials good for 7 to 10 weeks or actually 1 quarter. Because we believe that parents are presently the primary educators of their children nowadays because of this pandemic that we are experiencing. So I'll give you enough time. Take a look at the link. Let's get started. Now, if you are holding at least, or if you have at least 2 gadgets, you can make use of the other gadget to view this particular link. Okay. So if you follow the link, you will be directed to this site, Learn at Home. Then you will see there the following items. Okay. And below that, you will notice the 5 icons there, the Teach at Home guide, the supplement, the activity sheets, and the test booklets. So let's take a look at each one. So these are the downloadable files. If you click on Teach at Home guide, okay. So there you have the primary, the intermediate, and the secondary level. So these are in PDF format. It will just take at least 5 to 10 seconds to download each file. Okay, if you're done, let's take a look at the activity sheets. So when you click the icon on activity sheets, you will be directed to this one. So there you have the primary, intermediate, and secondary downloadable files. So I'll give you enough time to download the files. Okay, I think you're done. The third one is the supplement. So click on the downloadable files again for primary, intermediate, and secondary. And lastly, let's go to the test booklets. Okay, we will no longer go to the fifth icon because it's just a sample book. It's not actually an entire book. It's just a sample. So we will not be needing the fifth one. So let's take a look at this one. The first item here is the teaching guide. This will serve as a manual for parents and or guardians homeschooling their children. So it contains walkthrough that identify the parts of each workbook and the content and learning activities, the overview, and the learning competencies. Now, for the parents, do not share this with your kids because this particular guide contains already the answer keys for the test book and the rubrics compilation for use in assessing the outputs of your children. Okay, so let's take a look at the sample. So this is a sample from the primary level. You can take a look at this one. By the way, for the Learn at Home kit, it consists of 5 subjects. So hindi separate yung mga subject. Nasa isang file lang lahat yan. So we have there the Araling Panlipunan, Filipino, English, mathematics, and science. But we will just concentrate on this particular subject, which is science. So if we take a look at one level or in the primary level, you will have there from week 1 up to week 7. So this is the curriculum guide. Then there you have the learning competencies. And then you will be given the supplements and activity and test book, okay, for this particular level. So just the same with the other levels, the intermediate and secondary, you will also notice or you will also see this particular content guide for your kids, okay? Now, for the activity sheets, so these are divided into 2 parts. You have there the graphic organizers and the performance tasks. So what are these 2 things? If you are actually monitoring your kids in their activities in school, you will be familiar with this one. Okay? So performance task is a learning or assessment that students can demonstrate their knowledge. So these are the examples. If you take a look at the items in your kit, this is a sample graphic organizer in the primary level. So shapes around me. They will identify pictures based on the following shapes: square, rectangles, triangles, round, and oval. And what are their specific traits? Then you will have their performance task at the end of the lesson or at the end of the week. For the supplement, you have there the articles, the feature articles, cover and interest topics, and readings for your kids. So let's take a look at some examples. So here we have your numbers in your body. It's an activity or additional activity for your kid. Okay. Next, another example you have there, adding three-digit numbers and the do-it-yourself treasure map. You can still explore some of this in your downloaded file. But of course, it will be great if you have references such as the following books that provided by Vival. So if you need other references, that will be of great help. Now, for the test booklets, it provides various types of paper and pencil tests. So I hope you are familiar with this one. If you have seen the test papers of your kids, there are some various types of assessment that is being given to them by the teachers. And these are supplemented by alternative assessments and strategies, which are found in the activity book and supplement. So these are the examples. So for the primary level, you have there multiple choice type of text. Okay. So let's try to explore some of the items in the kit. Okay, let's try the supplementary materials in the secondary level. Okay, so let's try to explore this one. So this is in the secondary level. So you will notice that here in the table of contents, you have supplementary materials in the different subjects: English, Filipino, social studies, and mathematics and science. But let us just focus our attention in mathematics, which is on page 97. Okay. So these are the okay. For example, you have there an activity. I hope you are familiar with this one, the Sudoku. Then there you have top grocery items Filipinos buy. Now, the good thing here in the Learn at Home kit, once you download all the files, there's no need to go online. So you can already go offline and you can already share these materials to others who do not have internet access. Okay? Okay, let me just go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So just like the different online websites and apps, updates of the kit will be available soon. So just be updated with, Vival will keep us updated for the adjustments and probably additional learning topics in their Learn at Home kits. Okay, let me just share this one for you. Are you familiar with this one? Have you watched X-Men? Okay, so here, these are the dialogues of the characters in the movie. So Dr. Worthington says, "We find a cure." Rogue, one of the X-Men, said, "Is it true they can cure us?" Then Professor X says, "I believe it is true." Now Storm, one of the X-Men, also said, "No, Professor, they can't cure us. Do you know why? Because there's nothing to be cured." Then one of the villain, Magneto, says, "They will force that cure on us." So what is the relevance of this in our educational system? So here, since we are now in the new normal, let us just say that Dr. Worthington is DepEd. And the cure that DepEd is saying that for this school year, we go online, distance, or hybrid learning. Rogue is a student, and Professor X, Storm, and Magneto are the educators and parents or parents. So sino kayo dun sa tatlo? So of course, not all of us will be able to adjust immediately in this new normal settings in Philippine education. But I believe that we should be ready and we should be updated on the things that are happening to us right now. So let us put our trust also to DepEd. They are doing their best to for the opening of classes by August. Hopefully, all problems will be addressed regarding the problems that we may encounter on this type of learning. But take note, my dear parents, always remember that you are your child's first teacher is you. So their first step, their first word, you are there for them. And at this point in time, we teachers and parents should work hand in hand for the continuous education of your kids. And while waiting for the opening of classes, this Learn at Home kit will be a great help on how to go about the distance learning. More so, there are still a lot of things that can be learned at home even if your child is not enrolled in school. So just like what my former colleague, Sir R.V. Inderecha, shared in his webinar last May 8th, learning never stops. So I strongly believe that learning should never stop. Take note that learning does not mean academics only or the subjects. So teaching them different household chores will be part of their learning experience. And for the teachers, we must be digitally ready. So we already know the house of using the technology in classroom. However, this time it will be a lot different. So just imagine how many videos will we be able to make if we will go online for the whole school year. We will all look like an instant blogger. So we should look good, dignified, because we don't want to become the subjects of memes by our students. Do you agree? And also, be updated. I know some of us are joining different webinars sponsored by different publishing companies. So here in Vivad, we have a lot of webinars, or they have a lot of webinars to offer. So for those who are saying that the teachers are not doing anything during this quarantine period, that is absolutely fake news. In fact, we are also monitored by our school administrators if we are consistently attending webinars aside from the backlogs that we still have to submit. And for the teachers, we must be creative. Our creativity will be put to test. We will be competing with the different online games and apps in getting the full attention of our students. We have to make our online teaching available to our students. And for all of us, we have to keep in touch. Remember that we are still under MECQ. In as much as we want to meet and bond with our relatives and friends, we cannot still do not do that for now. Let's make use of technology to keep in touch with them. So other than our own family, we can also draw our strength from them. And lastly, keep the faith. No matter what your religion is, it is our faith in God that will help us move forward and keep on living. Let us continue to pray for one another, for our family, for our frontliners, our doctors and scientists, that they may find a cure for this virus, and for our government that they may continue to lead us in the fight against this unseen enemy. And my parting word or words, no good things will come if we won't start things better. So we should start doing things better to have great things ahead of us. I'm now ready for some question and answer. Do we have questions? So while waiting for some questions, let me just give my thanks to my friends who helped me in this presentation. Isa-isahin ko na, Justin and his daughter Joey, Jen and his daughter January, Dimna, Shirley, Onyx, Shaira, Shine, Adrian, Javin. So thank you very much. Denise and Joyce, of course. Okay, so there's one question here. Can you give us effective ways on how we can use learn at home kits, especially to your learners? Now, in the teaching guide, you notice there that the topics are divided into weeks. So you can make a schedule for your kids, especially if you are a parent working from home. You can just simply make a certain schedule for your children, and then try to follow the topics given in the content. Then you can still find some other references to be of aid so that you can guide your kids when using these kits. I hope you I hope I answered your question clearly. Do we still have questions? This is supposed to be an hour, pero medyo mabilis lang because, well, actually, I just presented the content of the Learn at Home kits. I will not discuss the topics included in the kit. So how can parents guide if they are working? So similar questions, I think, with the first one. We really have to make some adjustment for this one. If the parents are working, you can make a certain schedule. It's just proper scheduling. Or maybe if you have an elder son or daughter who's already in college or in the upper grade, you can empower them to teach the young kids using this Learn at Home kits. I'm referring to the Learn at Home kits. But in the actual, of course, it's a different thing because the teachers will be there if classes will go online. Next questions. Do we have to change the curriculum in this time of pandemic? David has already given the minimum learning competency, the adjusted one. I think you can just visit www.deped.gov.ph. You can download the file. Siyempre, mag-a-adjust tayo sa curriculum since we are expecting that we cannot do face-to-face. So medyo babawasan natin ng konti, o binawasan ng DepEd ng konti yung content. Okay. Is there a provision for parents to get oriented with the Learn at Home kits? Ito na po yung ginagawa natin sa ngayon. So, first you have to download all the files and then look at the Learn at Home guide. That will simply guide you on how to go about with the other items, the supplement and the activities, and of course the test. There's another question here, but I don't think, although this is not relevant to the Learn at Home kits, let me just try to answer it the best way I can. Good evening. Since there is an adjusted curriculum in terms of assessing students learning, is there a need to also change the grading system? Most probably there will be some adjustment, especially in terms of requirements, but let's see. Maybe DepEd will release another one for the grading system. So remember, we are following the written works, the performance task, and the quarterly assessment. Kung hindi man yun mabago, yung requirements sa loob siguro ang mababago. So this particular question, maybe I can direct this to Vibal. Do you have a topic for preschool learners, most especially in mathematics? So, bigay ko po yan sa Vibal. I will forward that question. Maybe they can provide one for you. Does being creative means being artistic in preparing lessons? Somehow, because the since we will go online, our video presentation must be appealing to the students. But of course, do not forget the content. The content is much more important. Okay. How could parents teach their child, especially in math, if they themselves does not know? So maybe in this particular questions, you can ask the help of the your teachers. You can maybe you can connect with the school somehow. Kasi ang mga teachers naman nakaabang lang, especially that some of the requirements are submitted online. So uh, merong dito, connection ang teachers sa students. So the teachers are following up the students. So siguro pwede tayo makahingi ng tulong din sa mga teachers natin kung talagang nahihirapan tayo na magturo ng math, especially in the higher level. Are the objectives in teaching the topics in the kit attainable and measurable? Of course, meron kasing rubrics na kasama ang ating kit. And the answer key to the test booklets are also there. Do you have any suggestion regarding how we could make online learning feasible for students with special needs? So I think we can also ask Vibal for this one if they have or if they can provide you with learning materials that will address this for students with special needs. Okay, do we still have questions? Okay, I think yun na lahat ng questions. So again, thank you for participating in this training. So if you have other questions, you can just simply message Vival Group in their Facebook page. Then I'll try to reach you. Maraming salamat and good night.